Apparently, an Iranian oil tanker was hit by 2 missiles near near a Saudi port. Now, this should be a really big deal because when Saudi's oil was attacked by Iran, every member of the establishment in Congress was saying the phrase, war with Iran, war with Iran. And we got really close to an assault on Iran from the US for an attack on Saudi Arabia, the country responsible for 9/11, by the way. It's a confusing world that we live in, I know, but like, anyways, when Iran is potentially responsible for an attack, the mainstream media immediately blames Iran and runs the headline for weeks. But when Iran is attacked, you don't hear a peep. You don't hear a thing. That's because the media wants you to think that Iran is the enemy and Saudi Arabia is the victim. Saudi Arabia, after all, gives us really good oil deals. And listen, they buy our weapons. They buy our weapons. Right? When they go to war, it's a great deal for our military industrial complex. So we'll defend Saudi Arabia for anything, right? Anyways, take a look at this article about the attack on Iran. This is an attack on Iran from Saudi Arabia. And take a look at how much effort is made to question if Saudi Arabia is really responsible for the attack. And by the way, this was posted by CNN. And I have this guy right now. I'm currently on a live stream. I have a person who's trying to tell me that I'll believe anything that CNN says. I'm about to criticize a CNN article. Let's go. All right, so this reads, an oil tanker belonging to the National Iranian Oil Company was hit and damaged by 2 missiles on Friday, Iranian state news IRNA reported. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you guys so you can see. There we go. All right, the missiles were probably fired from Saudi soil. Saheb Sadeghi, head of the public relations and of the National Iranian Tanker Company, told state-run Press TV. Reports that the missiles were fired from Saudi territory were later dismissed by NIOC, as reported by IRNA. It's kind of hard to read. Iran has not offered any publicly available evidence of the incident. The ship is still moving and traveling south, according to the tracking service Marine Traffic. So notice what they just did there. They said Iran has not offered any publicly available evidence of the incident. So when Iran potentially attacks any tanker, any oil ship or anything, right? It's like, it was Iran. It was Iran. Instantly. They'll jump on it like crazy. CNN will jump on it. But hey, we don't have any evidence. We don't have any evidence. So no Iranian government officials have blamed the attack on any side at this stage. But that's because they're conducting an investigation. And so they come across as like, oh, they're conducting an investigation, so it looks like no one's really guilty, so it doesn't, shh. Commenting on the incident, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Abbas, I'm going to say that wrong, I'm not even going to try, said according to the semi-official Fars news agency, quote, those behind this dangerous adventurism are responsible for the consequences of such act. The tanker was 60 miles from the Saudi port. This is really important. The tanker was 60 miles from the Saudi port of Jeddah on the Red Sea when the incident occurred, damaging its body, IRNA reported. According to the news service, the resulting explosion caused oil to leak into the Red Sea. Iran's Press TV also tweeted Friday, quote, report, explosion on Iranian tanker has set vessel on fire near Saudi port of Jeddah. So notice what they did there and what they didn't do. That was a decent report, okay? So don't get me wrong, that was how you should report whenever a tanker or an oil tanker is bombed, okay? But every time an oil tanker is bombed, that's not Iran, that's not from Iran, it was Iran. It's Iran. Immediately. It's Iran. And then when the investigation is actually thoroughly conducted, there's no proof that it was Iran. That's where we are right now. That's the state that our government's at. So we'll gladly blame Iran every time it could be potentially them. But every time it could be potentially Saudi Arabia, we turn our blind eye. And that's exactly what happened with 9/11. If you remember, after 9/11, we freaked out, and we started blaming terrorists, and we went to war, but not on Saudi Arabia. We thought that there were nukes in Iraq. We went there, and it turned out that intelligence agency was right. There was nothing in Iraq. And then we did the same thing with Afghanistan. We were trying to find Saddam Hussein. There was so many different things that we blamed 9/11 on, but it was never the people who were the actual country that was involved with 9/11. It was never Saudi Arabia. Oh, our dear beloved ally, Saudi Arabia. They would never do such a thing, even though we have evidence that suggests 100% that they were all from, or at least 9 of them, I think it was, were from Saudi Arabia. That's where we're at right now, guys. That's where we're at. That's, and so keep in mind, to give you some more modern news here, Saudi Arabian oil fields were bombed. We sent troops there. And Cenk Uygur made a really good point. That location is very far from any conflict other than being bombed by missiles from Iran once. So we're sending troops, boots on the ground, so that if Iran does it again, they're going to have to kill ourselves. Who does that? Who does that? Like, let me put this equivalently. Imagine you go to Saudi Arabia, the country that executes people in public. Imagine, you have a shooting squad in Saudi Arabia, and you say, okay, so we're going to prevent the shooting squads. Here's how we're going to prevent them. We're going to put our U.S. military in front of the criminals so that they don't get shot. You're going to put them in front of the bullets? That's what you're going to do. That's what we're doing with the oil takes right now, with the oil fields in Saudi Arabia. We're trying to protect oil fields in Saudi Arabia. That's our primary goal. We're trying to protect oil fields in Syria. That's our goal. It's just like, come on. I thought we were ending the endless wars. I don't know. But war with Iran, Lindsey Graham wants war with Iran more than anything. So the focus was on how everyone was okay on the ship that was attacked, and how it was just a small little leak. It was just a small little leak, 2 missiles, whatever, little leak. It was just a little leak. The crew was safe. Basically, what CNN is trying to say is, yeah, maybe Saudi Arabia did it, but nothing bad really happened. Everything's good. It probably wasn't even Saudi Arabia, even though it was off the coast of Saudi Arabia. There's no proof. It's not Saudi Arabia. How dare you? How dare you? It's probably Iran. Right? Iran probably attacked themselves. So when no proof of Iran attacking other ships is provided, the mainstream media, CNN, will jump on that like a hawk. Boom, it's Iran. But when Iran is attacked, they're fine. They're the bad guys, right? This is not getting the attention that it deserves. I don't understand.